What's up, everybody? It's your favorite variable mercenary's favorite nerd, and today we are looking at the PlayArt's Kai variant Deadpool. This is PlayArt's take on the Deadpool character. I think this might be the first PlayArt's Marvel character I've looked at. I could be wrong about that, but I think it is. I'm pretty sure it is. I've been interested in a few of them, but I haven't gone down that rabbit hole just because I'm just the Marvel characters that I love. They haven't really done so. It hasn't really tempted me. But this is on loan to me from Joe KW. He's a huge Deadpool fan, but getting a little less every day, but I'll let him tell that story on Nerve Rage. And he was kind enough to let me hold this and take a look at it, so let's not waste too much time and get right into accessories. And he comes with no shortage of hands. We'll talk about the detailings when we go through the figure, but as you saw in the opening sequence, he comes with 2 fist hands. He comes with left and right thumbs up hands. He comes with left and right trigger finger hands. He comes with left and right holding hands. He comes with left and right pointing hands, but it's like a downward point, which is fine, but that's just what it is. He comes with left and right relaxed hands or holding the gun hands. And then he has an additional left hand that's like this, like really relaxed, or salute, or possibly to hold one of these little stilettos and stuff. So he comes with that as well. Of course, he has to come with a slew of weapons, like this knife, which is pretty well done. You got this gunmetal finish on the blade, and then a lighter metal for the flip out bit, and it looks good. It works. It can be stored here on the calf, held in at least the trigger finger hand, and I'm guessing if you get some hot water or you play with these fingers a bit, you can get him to hold it in this hand. But I just don't want to force it because I've broken PlayArt's Kai accessories that are similar to this. It is a tight fit, be warned. He comes with 2 swords. Now, of course, they're stylized, like we talked about. This is PlayArt's take on the character, and I think they're done pretty well. The red comes outside the lines a lot, so that's fairly sloppy, and it doesn't look like it's supposed to be light sourcing. It just looks like it's done sloppily. The sculpt is cool, but that paint is really, really bad. Really bad, and the red could have probably used a second coat going over that black on the handle as well, so that's not the best. And then we have this gunmetal paint for the blades, which look pretty good, little spot there, and then this more glossy paint for the black on the handles, and that looks fine. They can be stowed on his back, but you have to have, it's not really intuitive, like the part that you would think would go on the other side actually goes on the opposite side, so the kind of guard goes underneath. And he kind of loosely holds it in the trigger finger hand. And once again, this hand is a little too tight. Let's try the other hand to hold it without trying to kind of get some hot water going and make it a little bit more pliable. Let's see. I kind of got this one. There. Yeah, it's just not the best. It's not the best fit, but he's got it there, and I think I'll probably call that a day. He comes with a very Liefeld-esque gun. It's black and then dry brush with that gunmetal, which looks really good, and then little red accents are painted on and look fine. Not the best, but look fine. They look acceptable. And he does hold that in the trigger finger hand just fine. And then he comes with 3 little stilettos. I'm not going to take these off the sprue because there's just no sense in losing them. I'm guessing he holds them in this hand here. But I'm just not going to risk it, and it's Joe's, so it's not mine, but they look well enough. They're all with this gunmetal finish. It's fine. He comes with 2 additional heads. One's like a "what are you up to" kind of head, and then the other one is like "whoa" kind of head, and they're fine. Same sort of detailings that are on the one that we're going to talk about, so we'll save that for then. You can see it's a ball peg that goes in underneath. And then it comes with the PlayArt's display stage, but it wasn't glued. Like, usually this piece is glued into the box, and I guess maybe it was glued down here, but I don't think it was glued at all, and as I opened it, all of this kind of fell out. I'm not going to put it together. It's not mine to do so, but it comes with it. All right, so figure time. The head, we're going to take a look, because we're going to pop this off anyway. Double ball peg. Which is fine. If this was up in there a little bit further and this had a longer stem, you'd probably get more out of it, but ultimately it's okay. And then the neck piece is a single, or it might just, yeah, it's a single ball peg. So a decent bit of range on this fella. You know, I think that's okay, actually. I think it's all right the way they did it. A little bit of gabbage in the back when you go to extreme angles, but I think it's all right. No issues, really. Okay, let's talk about detailings. So the head is all sculpted beautifully. And then we have this like wear dry brush style applied to it that's almost like a gold against, because this is definitely more of an armor on him than like a latex mask. We have the gunmetal black, or it's like a dark gray, but for the black spots on his eyes. And then we have little silver accents. We have this very metallic and almost pearlescent red paint applied. And then the whites of the eyes, and all that stuff looks amazing. They did a really good job with that. The neck piece, and it's the same with like the torso and some parts on the arms, is more of like the leathery look, and that has a wash on it, like a dark red wash on top of the red, which looks really good as well. For the chest, we have tons of sculpt work everywhere you look. I mean, look how much is there. It's ridiculous. So you have these pieces, which are black, and then dry brushed silver, and then silver is painted there. We have silver painted on the chest. We have the dry brushing gold for the weathering effect on the metal. The red itself is airbrushed to shade. And then we have the flat red down here with the dark red shading, or might even be black shading. I'm not entirely sure. Then we have the black bits with the silver painted on them. All of this is sculpted here. It's probably not hand sculpted because it looks pretty perfect. And then all this stuff back here is like the little wrinkles in the back of the leathery part of the suit. That's all sculpted. Everything is painted. Everything is either washed, airbrushed, or dry brushed for a really phenomenally kind of presence. So kudos to them for that. The shoulder is one of the better, I feel like this is one of the newer style play arts joints where the joint is a little bit angled down this way, but it works. It works better than I've seen them work in a long time, and it's a ratcheted universal, so you get the shoulder up to there and around. A bicep swivel right at this cut, which works really well, except it does destroy. You get the movement, but it destroys the sculpt. So I'm not crazy about that. I think maybe if they tried to go in underneath this armor plating there, it might have been better. I'm not entirely sure. This is the gunmetal, and then that's washed. We have this, which is like a third style red. So like this is more like the leathery red that we've talked about, and then this is the armor red, and then this is a third style, which is like another layer of leather that's more worn with a heavy black wash, and it looks fantastic. The red detailings are the same as we've already talked about, including the airbrushing and the dry brushing, and then the metallic accents, the silvers and whatnot, all the little doodads and so forth. They all look great. We have an elbow, which gets you 90 degrees on a single ball hinge, and that works well. Whereas a disc hinge is actually just shaped like a ball. And then we have the wrist, which is on a ball. No, it's on a disc hinge as well now. Have they always been that way? I'll have to check. So you get up, down. You can rotate it, I'm guessing, at both sides, but this one is kind of tight. Maybe you can't. You should be able to get the in out. I don't know. Yeah, you should be fine. And we have the black paint there, and then we have this. It's all sculpted. Same for the other side. For the chest articulation, there is feels like a double ball peg from the chest into the abdomen, but it might be a single. It might just be very large. And then we have another one that's a single that works really well. You're going to get gappage on extreme poses from the abdomen into the pelvis. The pelvis is a soft floating piece, but using both together, you can get the figure all the way over to there. All the way over to there. Forward, great deal back, and all sorts of swivels. Really well executed. One of the best play arts figures I've seen in a long time thus far. There is an issue with it, and we will get there, aside from this cut here, which I'm not crazy about, and this cut here, which is something stupid they've been doing recently, which is unnecessary, but we'll get there. So the pelvis is a soft floating piece. This is that third style leather right here. I'm getting a little touchy-feely. And then this is the second style leathering right there, and then all that stuff is sculpted, painted to the nines. No issues. We have ratcheted universals for hips. They get you pretty much the full Van Damme. Let's give it to them. And pretty much the full Monty. Let's give it to them. Now, what they used to do was make this the thigh swivel here around that universal. But they kind of recently stopped doing that and put in a cut joint here in the mid-thigh. I don't think that's the best way to do business. It doesn't do anything good for the sculpt. It throws it off, and I don't think you need that much of a thigh swivel anyway. So I wish they'd get away from that. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, Play Arts. We have this gunmetal here that's dry brushed and washed underneath that, so that works well. The two different style leatherings, which you've already talked about. The metallic stuff is all down in here, which is, even down in here, it's airbrushed and washed and dry brushed. Good grief. The gunmetal here, a little bit sloppy there, but that's the only real paint flaw I've seen thus far, which is kind of like floor, except not spelled nor pronounced nor means the same. And then we have silver paint here on the little accents. Tons of sculpt work. It's well done. Double jointed knee, which looks pretty good. Play Arts isn't known for their beautiful knees, and that's not perfect, but I think it's pretty good. I'm not sure if you needed a double joint, but he's a pretty, he's a dynamic character, so I'm with it. I'm on board. Moving down, we have this holster that's added on. It's glued in and the silver is painted on. Nothing for the other side. The ankles swivel. They tilt up. They tilt down. If you swivel the joint one way and then swivel the foot back the other way, which is sometimes tricky, you can get a rocker out of it. And I don't even have it at an extreme angle, but you can get it. It just takes some manipulating, which is something that Play Arts does. I wish that these joints moved a little easier. And then you have an ankle, a toe hinge as well, which is pretty cool. It's pretty well done. It's hard to do toe hinges. It rarely looks good, but this one looks really good. And then we have all sorts of weathering and stuff down on the boots, like kicking up dirt. So I'm cutting this in because I got on a roll and I forgot to mention this. So these ball hinges, disc hinges really down here are ratcheted. But I do feel like the clicks between ratchets aren't where you want the foot to be, which does create a problem balancing the figure a lot of times. Like this leans him a little bit too forward. Next click down leaves him too far back. And you want it kind of right there is between the clicks is where you want it. It's not impossible to get him to stand, and it does come with a display stand, so that certainly helps, but it's just not where you want those ratchet clicks to be, which is a bit of a bummer. This back piece does articulate on a ball hinge, a ratcheted ball hinge, so you can get that up if you needed to. I'm not sure you would need it to. Maybe if you wanted him grabbing one of these and you needed to change the angle of this, maybe that would work. But it's there, and if you don't need it, you won't notice it, and if you do need it, it's there, so that's fine. A really, really well done figure. Why do I look at stuff that I'm going to be tempted to buy? The DC ones do look good. I could probably put them over there. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm in. I don't know anymore. Final thoughts wise, it's really well done. The sculpt is amazing. The paint is phenomenal. Couple mess ups, a little sloppy on the sword. Couple littles, it's all this stuff I believe is hand painted, all the Play Art stuff. So it's gonna have issues, but they're very minimal, to be fair. And there's dry brushing, there's air brushing, there's washes, there's everything. They pull out all the tricks. There's metallic paints, there's flat paints, there's glossy paints. They put the love in. And they deserve to get the love back from me. Materials feel good. I think the articulation works better than we've seen on some Play Arts here recently. The elbow's a little weird, and then the thigh cuts I'm not a fan of, and the bicep swivel may have been poorly placed, but for the most part, it all works well with no issue. The only complaints I have other than that are that those ankle ratchets they're just not right, and I'm not sure what the answer is to that, but I know it's not right. You get tons of accessories, there's tons of playability, it's very posable, it's beautiful to look at, and I think it's an interesting design. It's a little expensive, so there is that, but there's an awful lot that went into this piece, and I definitely recognize it. So if you're a Deadpool fan, if you're a Marvel fan, if you're a cool figure fan, or if you're a Play Arts fan, I definitely recommend it. Thanks for listening, thanks for watching, until next time, take care.